deal with the cross doctrine, the cross and the tree doctrine. They say that that's a contradiction. One part of the gospel says, pick up your cross and follow me. You can go to the book of Acts, chapter 5 and 30. It says, he was whom you slew and hung on a tree. Now, today we're just going to deal with the erroneous, illogical thought of that Christ was slew and hung from a tree. If he was killed on a tree that's stuck to the ground, that's rooted inside of the dirt, then how did he carry his cross? You know what I'm saying? It just don't make sense. I'm going to go to a couple of these words. I'm going to start at Matthew 16, verse 24. It says, then said Jesus unto the disciples, if any man come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. So we see the word cross right there. That's the Greek word stauros. It means literally a crucifixion instrument. In the Roman time, it probably would have been a T or maybe a cross. It's a Roman crucifixion instrument. So that's actually in the original text. Stauros. I'm going to go to Acts 5 and 30. And I'm going to get it so you won't think I'm lying. You know, this is fundamental stuff. A lot of people tell, oh, you can't use the Strong's Concordance. That's not real scholarship. You know what I'm saying? This is just a surface level study. If you want to go deeper, you can go deeper. The Greek word for cross is stauros. Nobody can deny that. James Strong ain't right on everything, and you ain't either, because you're a fallible man. Who's infallible? You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get that Greek word stauros to kind of further validate. Here it is right here. Stauros. It means cross. It's a crucifixion instrument. I don't know if you can read that. I can read it to you. It's 47:16. Stauros, an upright state, hence a cross. Roman instrument of crucifixion. Stauros, a cross. Stauros, satiros, however you pronounce it, a cross piece of a Roman cross, cross beam. It's a wooden cross. That's just that word right there. It's a wooden cross. Matthew 16, that's the word, wooden cross. And let's go to the other word where we think that it's a contradiction. You know what I'm saying? It's not a contradiction. We think and we misinterpret that as a contradiction. Acts 5 and 30. The God our fathers raised up Jesus, whom ye slew and hanged on a tree. That's the verse that it's a couple other verses in Acts they'll get and say, man, Saul was hung on a tree. The Catholics added the other part. When you say that the Catholics added that word cross with no proof, I'm going to hold you to it. When I hear you say it, I'm going to say, well, show me. Show me some information on when the Catholics added that. Like how they go to the Council of Nicaea and act like that's info. Act like you're going to show me that the Catholics added the word cross. And it's going to be actually funny that you're not going to be able to produce that because it doesn't exist, because it's a conspiracy theory, because you didn't go into the Greek. Because you heard some nigga on the corner say, oh, the Catholics added cross. You copied him, made a meme, you didn't go into the Greek. Acts 5 and 30, the God of our fathers raised up Jesus, whom he slew and hanged on the tree. That word tree is ulan. Let's see what it means. Because we missing. We missing totally. Instead of preaching the gospel, we speaking against the Bible with no proof. What are you doing? What kind of ministry? You got the ministry of doubt. You supposed to be imparting faith. You sitting up here talk about the Catholics added the word cross. You got to stop. You really got to stop, because you ripping people's faith. Now they like, oh, well, dang, the Catholics added that. No, the Catholics ain't add nothing. Ulan. The Greek ulan for Acts 5 and 30. Y'all probably can't read that. The Greek ulan. But anyway, I'm going to read it to you. It's 35:86. It says wood. Ulan means wood in the Greek. It doesn't mean he was. How can he be slew and hung from a tree? I'm going to get this verse. I'm going to get John 19. John 19 and 7. And he, bearing his cross, went forth into the place of the skull, which is called in the Hebrew Galatica, if I pronounced that right. How did he bear his cross if he was slew and hung on a tree? Somebody's interpretation ain't gonna fly. And sorry, this time it's the Hebrew Israelites' interpretation. I'm gonna read that again. He, bearing his cross, went forth into a place of the skull, called the place of the skull, which is in Hebrew Galatica. and they crucified him and two other men. So he's carrying a cross before they crucified him. That verse in Acts 5:30 says they slew and hung on a tree. If you interpret that incorrectly, if you don't get the word ulan, which means wood, and I'm going to get this word again, it means wood. When you look at the word ulan, it means wood. And then when you look at one of the descriptive words they use, it's cross. There's no contradiction. You just preaching some doubtful gospel. It's you. It's not always, you know what I'm saying? You're trying to blame the text. It's you. There's no contradiction. Ulan, an instrument of wood, is a storos. What are you talking about? You said the Catholics added this. You twisted that. Let's get Psalms 22. Psalms 22 and 16. It says, for dogs have compassed me. The assembly of the wicked have enclosed me. They pierced my hands and feet. If you identify this as a messianic prophecy, then stop with the shenanigans. You said that Christ was, then the text does say that. It does say he was slew and hung on a tree. But you can't run with that doctrine. You got to go into the text and find out what these things are meaning. You can't tell people it's a contradiction just because you see something that you haven't went deep into and that you really don't understand. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to get another scripture in Sirach. This is a scripture I've been dealing with all day. Sirach chapter 5. Sirach chapter 3. Sirach chapter 3 verse 24. Many are deceived by their own vain opinion, and an evil suspicion hath overthrown their judgment. That's exactly what happens. When you see brothers saying, oh, the word Jesus is added, the word cross is added, the Catholics,